Alright, what's up guys? So I was playing around a little bit after the Rust LSP setup, and when I pulled up the fly check errors buffer, I saw that I was running into this issue with evil mode that used to drive me crazy, and then I've written a couple of little, well, I wrote one macro and one just little loop expression to take care of. So the issue here is that sometimes evil mode either puts you in the wrong mode, like the wrong state. So you can see we're in normal state, but sometimes we're in like evil motion state, and we'll see this M down here. And so then some of the bindings that you're used to working in Emacs mode are not going to work. So if we're in fly check mode, if I hit Control Z to switch over to Emacs mode, and I'm in here, it's like a compilation mode. So I can hit Tab. Let me make another error actually. Okay, maybe Tab doesn't work that well. But anyway, like I can hit Enter, and it takes me. Oh, does it not take me there? Maybe because of the syntax error. Let's put this here. Yeah, so you see, if I'm in this mode, and I hit Enter, it's going to take me to the error. Okay, when I'm in Emacs state. If I'm in this state, it does take me there eventually, but it first like loops to the next line. So what I want to do basically is remap that. Is it working now? No, see, it takes me down to the second line, and I want it to just take me there immediately. So what I usually do for that is I hop over to my evil config. Let's add another section of the config, evil. And what you can do is you need to call evil define key. Evil define key. So actually, I'm realizing that the macro I wrote is probably not that useful. I wrote it, I called like fix evil hook is what I called it, and basically it was adding a hook to these states that added like a local binding to the right key. But I'm pretty sure I can just do evil define key. So what you want to do is you can go over here and you can evaluate major mode. Fly check error list mode. So fly check error list mode. So if we look at the documentation for evil define key, we'll see it takes a state. So our initial state is motion, so we'll put motion. The key map is going to be list. It's probably list mode map. And then we want to bind it to whatever it does in the Emacs binding. So the best way to do that is just to come over here. Let's hop to the top, switch back to Emacs state, and then I can do Control H, K, and then hit the binding I want. So it's supposed to call this function, fly check error list go to error. And if I switch that back, then I just paste that in here, and hopefully that will take care of it. Ooh, 443. Okay, so I'm missing one of the bindings. Oh, I forgot to actually put the binding on it. So the way you bind something to return is just like this. Okay. That's alright. Or do I need the keyboard? I'm checking my macro now. I think I do need to put KBD around that. Okay, let me kill this. Go back to my Rust buffer. Whoa. What is this? Okay, so that looks good. That takes care of that. Yeah, the other thing you can do, so it actually looks like you put me in a normal mode that time. So maybe this wasn't the problem I thought it was. But just to show you the other part of this that I also have set up, let's pick another one where I run into trouble. Let's see, diff mode, vterm mode. Let's see. I'm trying to pick one that's actually applicable for us. How about xref? If I try to do, let's do this. How about, we're gonna look for set q. So we're gonna try to find references for set q. Sure, this looks fine. Okay, so you'll see over here. Okay, now here's an actual problem, right, that we can actually address in the same way. So I can check the major mode, xref -- xref buffer mode. So let's do normal mode. This time it's, oh, not that. Normal. Let's do this. And then if we're in Emacs state, what does that do? Oh, not. Yeah. Control K. It's supposed to do xref go to xref. We can probably flatten that one out. Okay. So I probably need to kill that. Ah, okay. Now the other reason that you would want to change the default state, for example, in normal mode, enter does work. Maybe. Yeah, okay, so enter does work in that, but let me try motion state. So enter now works in motion state, but you'll see only in motion state do we still get the Q support. So after I fix this xref thing, we'll go back to that. Let's do that. Enter, not working. We probably want this to be in motion state as well, actually. Okay, so once we define the keys to be in motion state, what we are also going to want to do is set the initial state to motion state. Because normal mode is really for like doing stuff, or like inserting text. Motion state is specifically for buffers like this that are read-only. So, now that we've defined those keys, now I'll show you the little the map thing I did. So we're going to do map card, and then we're just going to define an anonymous function. Evil set initial state. We're going to take the car of the list and the coder of the list, and we're just going to do that over a series of mode state pairs. So the first one I have is actually for go.doc mode, but we're also going to want it for xref -- xref buffer mode. We'll set that to motion to start out. Okay, so now I forgot to close the parenthesis, and let's add a sharp quote just to look cool. Okay, great. So now, if I go back to here, I hit xref find references, evil define key. You'll see that now I'm in motion state, and now if our binding worked, I should be able to hit enter. Oh, I'm not sure I actually evaluated this part. Oh boy. Alright. Well, maybe that's why I added it as a hook. That would actually explain that. Yeah. So, okay, well great. Let me show you the macro that I actually defined in my config, because that's what I wanted to do in the first place. Well, this is turning into a bit more of a mess than I had hoped. But basically the macro I wrote, instead of doing this, it expands into calls that look like this. Add hook, xref buffer mode hook, and then it calls this function, lambda evil local set key on state, so motion ret xref go to xref. So it expands into stuff like that. So as they show in Practical Common Lisp, it's a good thing to start your macro writing with an example of what you want it to expand into. So with that, I'll just show you what my macro looks like. So we'll do def macro, and I call it brw fix evil hook, but I mean obviously you can call it whatever you want. So it takes a hook, it takes a state, and it also takes a key and a function. And we're going to start with a back quote, as is typical. We're going to add hook to, we're going to quote after inserting hook. Then we're going to run this function, or generate this function, lambda evil local set key, again quote after interpolating it, keyboard key, quote fn. So that's my macro. And now it's easy enough to translate this into a call for that macro. Fix evil hook. So we've got, and we can omit the quote because we put this quote here. So we got xref buffer mode hook. We can take out the lambda. We can take out all of this. So it goes down to just motion. And then we do the keyboard call in the macro. So we just say ret. And then we can just put the function name here. Okay. Now if I run that, now this time, let me kill this again. And let's run this. This time you can see that it does actually work. So that's how I actually fix my key bindings. So I'll do the same thing here for the other one. So brw fix evil hook, fly check, error list hook, motion state, ret, fly check, error list, go to error. Great. And then I can delete both of these, since they didn't work anyway. And if I go back to my Rust thing again, so again, it's putting me in a normal state, which doesn't let me quit with Q, right? It tries to define a keyboard macro. So I do want to start that one in motion state as well. Fly check, error list mode. Also start in motion. Let's kill this one more time. And now you can see, again, we start in motion state, and now our binding should carry us through. Okay, great. So, that's basically all you need to know. It took a little longer to get there because I wanted to try out just defining the keys directly instead of doing this hook stuff. But, you know, in the end, we still got there. This is what I have in my own config, is this, this hook macro, and this little series of, this loop, basically. So next time you run into an issue with evil mode where you're like, man, that's not the right state, or this this command isn't working as I'm hoping, you can hopefully use this to take care of that. And now I can use it also in my configuration for this video. So hopefully you guys get some use out of this, and I'll see you next time.